Hey everyone, I'm David, aka Coma2000. Welcome back to my channel. In my last video, which was a tutorial, using my 10 favorite modules in vcvrack 2, I built a patch from scratch. It was supposed to turn into some kind of ambience, and well, you are hearing it, it is, but it's kind of spooky. And I got a comment on my video from Bob the Owl, I think that's how you pronounce it, how we could make this patch into more of a pad sound, a bit nicer and not this scary. And I actually tried it already and I succeeded, but in this video I will try to follow my own advice and these steps and turn this into a bit nicer sounding patch, more similar to the ambient music that I actually make. And it's possible without repatching anything, just turning the knobs. So let's get to it. Well, first off, if you look at the random sampler here, the pitch output, this is where our pitch information is coming from, you can see that it's going kind of smoothly, transitioning from one note to the other. And well, we don't want that, so you can change the mode, the X mode of the random sampler, either by hitting the X mode button or by right-clicking and selecting in this menu identical or tilt, and just switch this from bump. And if you go to identical, you will see that now we have fixed voltages coming out at the times determined by the T side of this module. So we are already sounding somewhat better. And then you want to remove some of the modulation, the CV modulation here, because you want to find the right settings on the resonator, rings, and also the right settings on clouds. So basically this is a rings into clouds tutorial, so to say, and then we'll also do the rest. So let's turn this down first. Double click, then it goes to the middle. Double click here too. And now if you want to make a pad sound, what you want to do is granularize the incoming audio, which is coming from here, first into chronoblob, and then from chronoblob it's going into the left and right inputs of clouds. So you want to granularize it in a way that you get small fine grains and then turn up the reverb. So let's turn down the reverb first. And maybe turn down the other channels. We can actually also solo it in a moment. And this video might take a while because I played around with these knobs for a while, so I'll be tweaking. If it's getting long, just jump ahead. Well, I'll give it a try. So you play around with the grain size and the density. And sometimes the sounds will not be that enjoyable, maybe. Also, this blend knob has 4 functions. We are full wet now. If you want to listen to the dry sound that is coming into clouds from here through this chain, then it's like this. So this is the music that Rings is playing. Okay, let's change the structure on Rings. And switch it into sympathetic strings mode, because that usually does the trick. It has different resonator types, as you can see, 6 different ones. So let's try this. This is what I use most of the time. Yeah, and we have some nice sort of music playing. I press Command and then you can fine-tune the knobs. Okay, turn down the steps here. So you play around with all the modules at the same time, obviously. Here we are selecting notes from the scale. So we are in the minor scale. And if you turn this down, then you get all sorts of notes. Well, it doesn't sound very good. So turn the steps, the smoothness up, so you only get the notes from the minor scale actually. So sorry about that. Just wanted to show you. Okay, so that's the sound coming in. Let's turn back the blend knob here, the wet sound. You can also play around with the feedback, turn it up or down. But let's turn up the reverb, let's hear how this sounds now. You can monitor your input levels here. You can turn it up or down a little bit, so that we are not clipping. And we already have like a pad-like sound now, much more than before, so you can stop the video here if you're happy with the sound. I'm going to play around with this a bit more. Play around with chronoblob, because we have the delay effect before the reverb, so maybe we turn down the delay time. So this is what we are getting from clouds. On our other channel is another reverb, of course, so that was quite okay. That's coming also from rings, but instead of going to clouds, we are going into Plateau, which is also it's just a reverb, so to say, but it's an amazing reverb, while the texture synthesizer, or clouds, is a multifunctional module. It's a granular synthesizer, but it has an incredible reverb built in, so that's what many people use it for. Okay, not bad. Now we just have to do something with Basal because it doesn't sound too good. So if you want to see also what notes are playing, you can also go by ear, but let's add the tuner. Let's add the hot Tuna. Let's add 2 of them. Let's duplicate it. And here it's a great tuner because it's also one of my favorite modules. I don't know where it is on the list, because you can feed in voltage. So you can feed in this voltage here, so you see what the information is coming from here to here as a volt per octave. But you can also feed in a signal So rings is giving us these kind of notes actually in audio, and you see that the two are not the same, and I noticed this many times when I was trying to combine rings with plats, that because of this sympathetic strings mode and the structure, you are getting different notes out than what you are feeding in. So it's good to use a tuner to make sure that you are in tune. So what we want is to set Basal to a frequency that is on the scale. So let's see, we have a C note, we have A note, A sharp, G, D sharp, C. Okay. I mean, the easiest would be just to set it to C, of course. But we are in a maybe. Well, let's just listen. That's always easier than trying to figure out what scale we are in. So let's turn up the octave a bit so we hear it better. And now with the tune knob, you can tune it to the note you want. So let's feed in the signal. C, okay, well C is the easiest because then you just go here in the middle. Let's try C again. No. Command Z, Control Z, Z. Let's go back. Let's try A before we turn down the octave. Oh, I like A sharp. I don't know, I like it with B for some reason. But let's try F. Sorry. We're tuning the guitar. Oh no. Let's go back to B and stop wasting time here, but you can find the note that you find the most pleasing. I just like the harmony here. Change the modulation so that it's not so coarse. And let's go down one octave. Yeah, we need some gain for sure, but you can always turn it up here as well if you are maxed out. Or you can use a master module, and I'm using the BassMaster here that I usually use as the final module in my patches, where you also have a gain knob. And I didn't talk about it in my previous video. I always forget stuff, but that's because I already made a tutorial about the BassMaster and it's on my Patreon, so I already talked about it so much, I just skipped it. But beyond just an equalizer where you can change the high gain and the low gain, it's a very simple final equalization. You can increase the gain and then maybe make the sound a bit wider. But first let's go to the texture synthesizer. Why am I having trouble saying this word all the time? Synth. And you can turn this to not feedback, but that's okay. Let's not change that. Let's not mess up what we already have here. The spread, well, it's turned quite high already. And then here also the stereo width. A bit more bass, a bit more low frequencies. There's quite a lot of noise coming from, that's from clouds with the reverb. Okay. And now you just find the final sound that you like, so. So that's it. Now we have an ambient pad. And it sounds, well, let me know. What do you think about the sound? Let's listen to it a little bit, enjoy it, and see you in the next one. Peace.